1, go.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, we got distracted. We were talking about the movie Titanic.
The movie Titanic. I haven't watched Titanic in so long.
We were talking about all the different actors, and because we just saw we were talking about like how we would love to be an actor, but we would both suck at it, and then how
do you know?
Well, I guess you don't until you try. strong feeling we'd be a bad actor, but it'd be a fun
I act
job.
like I'm interested in college classes. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
The Two Faces for Radio Zoom Room.
Actually, I guess we can start the interview now. That's out of the way. You've been good though?
Yeah, I've been really good.
Awesome,
all things considering,
Yeah. I got
Very
to talk with JP Sax like when we all thought this was going to be like a 2-week-long adventure back in March or whatever, right when you guys released If the World Was Ending, which is Grammy nominated, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I was talking with him like there is this I experienced that earthquake that you guys were talking about. I was in Las Vegas for the weekend. And like being from Indiana, like when the ground starts shaking, it's like, oh hell no, I'm out. And I was freaking out. But I kind of want you to explain like that whole relationship with JP Sax, like how'd that come about? How's it going? All that.
Well, I found out about his music actually through Shawn Mendes. He texted me and asked me like what I'd been listening to, and I sent him a bunch of things that I really liked, and I said, what about you? And he was like, well, I think you'd really like this person. His name's JP Sax. You should listen to this song. And I listened to it. I listened to 25 in Barcelona like on repeat for like 6 hours. And I DM'd him. I'd never even heard of him. And I DM'd him and I was like, hey, like love. Oh no, I posted his song in my story, and then he was like I think you are like the coolest ever, basically. And I was like, well, let's write. And then I don't know, it took us like a few months to even be able to get in the room. And then once we did, we wrote If the World Was Ending the day we met. And yeah.
Wow.
So how long before because whenever we hear If the World Was Ending, we can totally relate to 2020 and be like, oh, it's the theme song of this year, blah blah blah, because the year's awful. But
yeah.
So did you guys write?
We wrote it in July of 2019. So this was like way before any of this even happened. We literally wrote it about the earthquake. Like it was 4th of July, and I was like, is the ground moving? And I look over and I see all the water like coming out of my pool.
Oh, hell no.
I was like, what is happening? And he was driving when it happened. He didn't even feel it. So we were just talking about that, and that's how the song really sort of came about.
Well, the song,
I mean, like living in California, are like earthquakes just like second nature to you, or does it still like freak you out every time it happens?
It's a little bit of both. Like at first you're like, is this an earthquake? And then you're like, oh shit, it's an earthquake. And then you're like, nah, it's an earthquake.
It's an earthquake.
Oh my gosh.
They don't usually last too long too, so by the time you figure it out, it's kind of over, right?
Yeah. Last time though, I did buy a survival kit. Just because we had been having them, because we had one on like the 4th of July last year. Mm-hmm. And then there was like a really bad aftershock, because I was actually, funny enough, I was at a Shawn Mendes concert when the second one happened.
Oh, no way.
You just see his lighting rig like moving like this, and you just see everyone running, and you're like, what is happening? And you're like, oh, right.
Oh,
we have these.
Earthquake.
No, but like I said, I was
almost exactly a year later in 2020, almost on the same day, there was another big earthquake.
See, that's where it gets
we
weird.
Were like, no, that's too weird. I'm getting a kit.
A little bit. So then within next year on the same day, you'll be prepared. Now you'll have
exactly.
You have the survival kit. You got it all.
Ready.
What's the kit have in it?
Like everything.
Some like canned food,
batteries, food, like fire blankets, like literally everything you could think of.
Dang, Tommy, I kind of want. We're in Indiana, I have absolutely no need for it, but I kind of want one.
I might Amazon Prime that thing to my house tomorrow.
Yeah. I was watching The Voice the other day, and I saw that you're a mentor on it. How is doing that with Gwen Stefani?
I was, yeah, it was amazing. It's actually my second time being on the show because I
Mhm.
mentored for Adam a while
Adam
back.
Levine, yeah.
Yeah, and I did a record with Gwen like 5 years ago. We did like 10 of the 12 songs on her album, and we just got really close really quick. And she just sort of asked me to be back on the show, and it was really exciting. I actually really like being on the show. I feel a little out of place there because I don't necessarily think of myself as like a singer. I think of myself as more of like a better writer than I am like a, and so I always feel like a little bit of a fraud being there, but I love being there.
You still help him out a ton, yeah, and doing all that, getting to
You
talk to
know,
you.
Jackson brought up a good question when we were kind of prepping this. If you could choose one, what would it be, singing or songwriting?
Oh man, that is so hard.
I knew it would because you've heard some pretty big songs like even I for Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez. I just found out you wrote the theme song for Austin and Ally or co-wrote it.
I
Like
was 17.
I know that's
No way.
that's crazy. But then also you're about to do all this other performing on Jimmy Fallon a few weeks ago. So yeah, if you had to choose one.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm putting on my album next year, my first album. I've only ever done EPs since now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd have to probably say writing just because I've been doing it longer. I know it better. And it's been more of a release for me than singing has over the last decade of my life. And it's been the one thing that I've been able to help myself through helping others with. But I think that also just comes with not fully being comfortable with myself as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just I still hate the sound of my own voice.
We do too,
so
yeah.
yeah. So I need to just get past that. You hear your voice on a voice memo and you're like, oh my God, stop talking.
Oh, it's
when Tommy and I do this
I can't
podcast,
hear myself on the radio or the podcast.
I know.
Anything.
When I'm editing the podcast, I have to go over the same 30 seconds to edit it over and over and over. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, I'm so done. Can someone else do this? This is awful. Well,
so what's the decision process look like so you're writing songs? When is it like, okay, this song's for me and this song is for so-and-so?
Well, usually if I'm writing for an artist, that session is usually a focused session for said artist, or I'm in the room with that artist. I'm not the kind of person to write a song and for somebody else and love it and be like, I'll take that, thank you. That's just not my vibe at all.
Right.
If I'm gonna write for myself, it's focus sessions for my album, focus sessions for me. When we did Lie Like This, that was fully for hey, we're working on this album, we're gonna get in, this is what I want to talk about, this is what I'm feeling, and then we do that.
Yeah. What was the inspiration behind Lie Like This?
Well, it's quite funny. So at night, I sit in front of JP,
mm-hmm.
and because I like to be cuddled, because I'm needy as FUCK, and I went to sort of Spider-Man kiss him, he turned upside down.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're pretty upside down. And I turned right around and he was like, you're pretty right side up too. And I was like, oh!
That is so cute.
Aww.
JP's got some game.
Let's go.
And then that's in the song, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, that's how the song starts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. And then how was performing it on Jimmy Fallon a few weeks ago?
It was amazing. It was the first time I feel like we actually got to do a real set where it almost felt like a music video, and we choreographed it for a week before, and
it looked like it was really
it was so much fun, and I got to see my band, which I haven't seen in a really long time, and
Aww.
we finally got to play together for the first time. I was trying not to get emotional all day because my people, I missed you so much.
That's awesome.
So did you guys rehearse via Zoom or off-site? Because you said that was the first time seeing them. How did that work?
Yeah, so basically my MD sends out sort of the stems of what everyone needs to play. So
Mhm.
everyone sort of practiced on their own.
Wow.
Oh, that
And
could have been
then
crazy
the
coming
day
together though.
of- Yeah. And then the day of, so they get there like 2 hours before me, and then they're all distanced and they're all practicing it together. And they're like seasoned musicians, you know,
Yeah.
you're like, give them a song, they can
Right,
just
yeah.
play it. And you're like, how do you do that?
Knowing all the
So
chords
they
and
were, like,
notes.
ready to go. I was the least prepared, I feel like.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's crazy. So, Tommy and I, we've heard some rumors about, your new studio album coming out and all that, but we were looking it up online and there's absolutely nothing. There it is. You guys have kept this pretty secretive, but you got anything for us? I know.
Well, I mean, all I can really tell you right now is I'm working on it. It's like 80% done.
Nice.
Artist plight is like, you know, you always love your last song better, and the beginning song you start to hate, and then all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
reconfiguring things and you're re-singing things and rewriting things when you don't need to. So I'm sort of like 80% done, and I'm hoping to have an album out by like top of the year.
Top of
Fingers
the year.
crossed.
That's
When you say you're 80% done, does that like how many songs are you writing and even recording that don't even make the cut? Or are you just like this song, like just one after the other? Like we were talking with AJR the other day, and they were like, yeah, we hardly throw away songs anymore. It's just straight,
Yeah.
it's making it to the album.
I try not to throw away songs anymore. Usually if I'm doing something in the studio and I don't like it, I'll just sort of like start to pivot with something else, like like maybe we should do this, or I have this other idea, and just try and get what you can, because right now, you know, like no one's really working and it's pretty like scarce getting into the studio. So when you have it,
I'm sure.
one, it's exciting because you haven't been there in so long, and you're like, oh, I need to do something great, like I want to do something great, you know. And then like two, you're like, I don't know when I'll be able to do this again.
Yeah.
So, you know, just trying to make the most of the studio time, and being with the producers. The Monsters and Strangers are executive producing my album with me, so we've been in the trenches together throughout this whole process, which has been really fun.
Well, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Well, it seems like you're obviously extremely passionate about music and obviously extremely excited to be back in the studio. So I have high hopes for the album, which I know it won't. I know it won't disappoint. And
I hope not, dear God.
No, we're looking forward to seeing you.
We can't wait to see you.
Yeah,
Jingle
our
Jam.
Jingle Jam.
Literally less than 2 weeks away. Holy
so
shit,
soon.
that came
I
up
know.
fast.
It's all
It's
virtually
coming
this
up.
year, which kind of sucks, but it makes sense, obviously.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast and how slow this year has gone, but I'm very excited
know.
for it to be over.
Yes. Tommy and I were
Like, bye.
we're like, what else could 2020 do in the last month? I'm like, let's not ask that question.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the motto list
Let's
shows
not
up and aliens are
manifest
coming.
anything else.
No, we're just gonna stroll right by, pray for the best, keep our head down, and get to 2021.
That
Yeah,
sounds
there you
like
go.
a plan to me.
But it'll be perfect. Well, thank you for sitting down with us today. Cannot wait to see you at Jingle Jam in less than 2 weeks, and
Yep.
that album.
Of course. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome.
Yep,
Bye,
see ya.
Julia.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks, you too.